Hi, folks. In case you stumbled on this video and don't know who I am, my name is Mr. Jimison. I've been a math teacher for about 30 years, and every single year, the most asked question by students is, why do we have to learn this? This is a replacement code. The dollar sign is the M, the number sign is the A, the exclamation point is the T, and the star is the H. Of course, you could replace it with other things, and basically you get the idea. Well, unfortunately, most math teachers that I know will tell you over and over again, well, you're going to use this. It's not true. The chance of you actually using even upper level mathematics, calculus, engineering, that you will need to know basic algebra skills is fundamentally 0%. But there is a really good reason that you need to be educated in basic mathematics in a lot of other areas. And I want to address one reason why it's really important. And I'd like you to do this thought experiment with me. So I hope you'll try it out. And here's the reason why you need to be educated. Like it or not, we live in a capitalistic society. And because taking money, goods, property, taxes, basically everything you own away from you is extremely easy if you're ignorant. And you and I are like Nemo in a whole world of sharks if you don't have knowledge, skills, and education. And I'd like you to do this thought experiment with me and really do it. Take the time to actually think about this situation. I don't want you to be just bait and an easy meal for the sharks. So try this thought experiment with me. Here it is. I want you to imagine for a moment that you somehow were lucky enough to win $1 million. Really do this. Think about it for a few minutes. Pause the video. Think about what would you do with your $1 million? How would your life change? How much would you spend? That sort of thing. And just for a few minutes, just spend 2 minutes. Really seriously take this seriously. And I promise you'll understand the point if you actually do it. So pause the video, really seriously, do it. I happen to know a gentleman who actually won the lottery. He won $4 million. And there was another gentleman in El Paso who was homeless and found a lottery ticket, and it was $1 million win or more. And both of those cases, I can tell you what happened, but it's a story for another day. Today, we're going to do our thought experiment. And unless you're well educated in a lot of these areas, within a year, you would probably be 100 times worse off financially than you were at the beginning of the year when you won the $1 million. And you wonder, how is this possible? How can this be true? I'd like you to look it up. There is actually a book, it's a novel written by David Baldacci about this phenomenon. It's called The Winner. So if you have the opportunity and have the time, it's an interesting read, but it's based on actual cases. And it's called The Winner by David Baldacci. And I recommend it. Nearly every lottery winner in history is worse off financially and much worse socially after a year or two than before they won the money. And there's a reason for this. So let me show you something. I'm just gonna get my next one maybe. There we go. This is probably what you're thinking. I wouldn't even spend half the money. In fact, I'd spend less than half. So, those people are just stupid. And I have 3 words for you. Progressive income tax. When you win $1 million and take the cash settlement, it is considered income. Did you know that at the end of the year, you will owe about $600,000? If you had only spent 200 and a quarter million on a fairly modest home, 100,000 on cars, boats, whatever, and 50,000 for expenses, you will now have exactly $0. Think about this. How many of you thought to yourself, oh, I wouldn't even spend 30%? Well, even if you spent 30% of the winnings, at the end of the year, it is almost certain that you would be basically penniless and in debt, because when you own property, there is a lot of other expenses that go along with ownership. For example, just as an example, you buy a yacht. I happen to live on one for the last 5 or 6 years. And the last year I owned it, it was $24,000 just to have it at the dock. That was just to pay the dockage. That didn't pay for the upkeep. That didn't pay for the taxes. That didn't pay for the fuel. That didn't pay for anything except just for it to sit there. Didn't pay the electric, didn't pay the water. So I want you to really consider that if you really did the thought experiment, this was the best case scenario that you could possibly hope for starting out in life. And without an education, without knowing what's going on in the world, people, the government, the IRS will take everything away from you. And I don't want you to be a little fish in the world and become the bait. That's just one reason. That is just one single reason to educate yourself. And there are so many more. So I hope you'll stick with me. And I believe in teaching through stories. So I will do the stories of the 2 lottery winners that I am personally familiar with, and I'll tell you what happened and how it worked out. But I'm also going to give you examples of people who were educated and were able to become very, very successful with education. Without it, it is a very difficult thing. So I hope that answered that question for you. And I will see you again sometime.